Good morning, my friends. How are you? So yes, I'm still tucked in like the workspace, the work center in here, and right next to my trusty printer and paper cutter and all that kind of good stuff. So in the rest of the office, we have all sorts of cool things going on. In the classroom, which is right behind that door, we have installed a camera on the ceiling that is like a 360 camera, and it zooms in, it zooms out at wide angles, it does all sorts of stuff. I'm not exactly sure how yet. And it has a system for producing and projecting, and it's pretty exciting. I will tell you, just between you and me, when I was upstairs in the attic, we were putting some stuff up and organizing. I actually fell through the ceiling, not fell through, stepped through the ceiling yesterday. So I kind of had my contribution to changing what was on the ceiling. Anyways, we fixed it, and by we I mean the amazing Steve Brogan fixed it. Anyway, it's been fun. It's been fun, but it's been a little scary. And then in the other room, which we haven't really gotten too much to, it's going to be the studio where we'll be doing like our lives in the morning for the most part and all that kind of stuff. And um, and I started thinking about this. Like I've wanted this for so long. I've wanted, video has been such a big part of my profession, and it's taking it to the next level and the next step. And you know, so you go through these stages of when you're looking around, and so there's some fear. And I'm like, fear of the unknown, fear I won't like it, fear that I'm not going to do it right, fear I'm going to have it all in place. Steve's going to go home and I'm not going to remember how to do anything. This fear of learning. And I started thinking about that because I don't normally think of myself as a fear-filled person. But I am coming off of a weekend of snowmobiling. And when we snowmobile, I am basically like a lot slower than everybody else. And it's because I feel like they have to be operating their machines at this out of this place of no control. And or that they can or maybe they are controlling it just but so much faster than I can control it. And also, like, so when you're on the snowmobile and it's always this uncertainty, like, am I going to hit a bump? Is something going to fly in front of me? Is it like you go through all these things and you're going almost as fast as you are when you're driving. And actually for everybody else that I go with, they do travel as fast as when you're driving. And so I hit this fear place, but I stay the whole day when we're snowmobiling in like this, like a heightened state of awareness, I guess. And it's not a comfortable place, and it's not a place I like, because if I like, there was one time that I like was in the air, and so I like went forward. We were going up a hill, we hit a bump, and I like fell into like the emergency stop thing on my sled. And so I like just stopped, and I had to like put it back on and went, and it was fine. But it was that moment of like, oh my God, you should not be out here. you know and I don't know, but it's this place that like my brain goes to all of these places, like of losing confidence, hating on myself, feeling like I don't recognize places that everybody else recognizes that we've been before, and to me they all look the same. And I just go in this dark spot. And so I take that, like, so that uncertainty I felt over the weekend. Now I'm here in the office and I'm looking at like these things plugged in, and like the remote that's supposed to be like pre-programmed, and I'm trying to like say like, I can do this, right? I can learn this. I can master this, and I can take it one step at a time. And so so my tips, right, is like identifying the fear. And the fear is that I'm going to do all this stuff. It's not going to work the way I want it to. And when I've now invested a pretty good amount of money in this, is that it's just not going to be what I want it to be. But so that's my first thing, right? And then the second part is like going through that and saying, all right, well, then how do we figure it out? And so Steve and I have decided that we will do some videos. We will create like almost like a training program on how to do this for other people who want to do it. So in this way, right, by learning it enough to teach it, I will probably learn it. And then I can go and teach it to other people who are looking to do this stuff. So I have figured out a way to get through that. And then my last part is, well, there's two parts to the last part, is following through. and getting to the spot on the other side of enjoying it and learning from it where that growth is, right? I always say that the comfort zone is no growth zone. The growth zone comes when you're not comfortable, when you're a little bit in fear, when you're trying to figure stuff out, when you're learning. And so I just thought I would share that. And naming, oh, thank you so much. And naming this fear, right? And naming it, giving it labels, digesting it, realizing that, thank you so much for what you're saying. I totally, thank you. Thank you for saying that. So my thing is naming it, being able to face it. And honestly, the last part of this, which is part of that fear setting, is if it doesn't work out, what's going to happen to me? So if it doesn't work out, what's going to happen to me? So the first part is all of the minor wins that I've had getting to this point, right? I've improved my presentations. I've improved my school, which is my big why, right? I've improved all of these things that are going to be better than what they were before. I may not get to where I want to go, maybe not, but all of these baby steps on the way is I have failed forward, right? And then the other part is if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. There will be life after success and there'll be life after failure. So I'm going to make it so Heather says I'm letting the light in and staying out of the dark corners, right? So yeah, so letting the light in. But I just wanted to tell you how I'm feeling, because I feel like whenever I go to places and I teach people about video or we talk about this next step, everyone's like, they don't know, like they just don't know. And what I'm saying is that I will share with you all of my steps so that maybe it can help you too. And of course, for me, right? If I, as I'm talking with you and processing, if I learn this enough to teach it, then I will feel good about it. And that will be something that will have made this worthwhile. Anyway, I have to go vacuum. I have to go vacuum. I made a big mess kicking my foot through that ceiling yesterday, and I'm just going to get us ready for another power day of putting together these things. And I can't wait to share it with all of you. Thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you for your feedback about loving the conversation and being there with me and understanding and relating. And I don't know. Sometimes I think about people who like seem to be fearless, and I'm like, how do you live a life without fear? And honestly, I don't think it's true. I don't think anyone does. I think that it just manifests itself in various ways for us. So I so appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.